Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. Court is back in session. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty. With me, as always, is a man who doesn't need any stinking badges, Mr. Drew Celestino.
Say badges?
Badges.
Well, badgers.
No, just badges.
Oh.
We could all do with more badgers. I'm sure they serve some ecological purpose.
If we're on Raoul's Wild Kingdom, we don't need no more stinking badgers. And did you know that the turtle is nature's suction cup?
Look, it stinks.
If you get that reference, folks, you're
good people.
You're good people.
Sir, here we are back again. Day late, but not $1 short.
Check my wallet on that.
Yes, well, you never know. You never know. Opening statement, sir. How was your week?
It's good. I'm adjusting slightly to a new sleeping schedule. So,
okay.
I'm up at about 5:30 every day now.
Okay.
And the goal is 5. I haven't hit that goal yet, but that is the goal. The idea will be to wake up at 5 and start the old workout before anyone is awake and any the wiser.
Yeah.
We'll see. 5, but to be honest, getting up at 5:30 once I'm out of bed and up, it's fine. I'm on the routine. Get up, feed the dogs, get in the shower, make the coffee. Everything's fine. But adding in that extra half hour and then a workout, mentally, that's a tall order to get over.
Now, you've done workout regimens in both morning and afternoon.
Yes.
Do you have a preference? Does the morning workout really get you energized for the day and whatnot?
I'm not so sure about the energized for the day, but it at least gets it out of the way. And you feel like, okay, that's done. Engage the rest of the day. The problem I'm having in the afternoon is after work, my willpower is just kind of sucked dry, and I don't really want to do anything. So the morning is really it, and I've just been kind of dabbling in some motivational mentality articles and whatnot, and the 5 a.m. wake-up call is if you can get up at 5 and get your day started, you will be more productive for that day. And in theory, it works, but in practice, it's very difficult.
Yeah, so I would have to back it up an hour from when I'm waking up now.
Yep.
No, I think I'll sleep.
Yeah. I'm in bed by 10, if not 9:30 nowadays. I feel like a child, like when I was a kid. It's bedtime. It's terrible. But anyway, the week has been fine. Not a whole ton to report. Been mostly playing Hollow Knight still. 30-some hours into it now. The world just keeps getting bigger. It's pretty incredible.
There's something else we've all been playing, which
there sure is. We'll talk about that.
We'll get to.
We sure will,
because we actually have a listener question on it.
Great. We'll talk about that. But that's really about it for me. I had, I made dinner with the Pops on Saturday. I made some delicious carnitas, which are becoming a new specialty of mine.
Yeah.
Super easy to make. We should do a kitchen stew segment. Remember those? We should do one of those about that one of these days.
I remember those. I was like, "You got a segment for tonight?" And your response was usually,
I wing it a lot on recipes and stuff, so it's kind of hard to keep up with that segment. Maybe once in a blue moon we'll throw that back in. So if you want to know how to make the carnitas, I'll tell you how to make them. So you can all write in. You know the email address, man. You want to bring that stuff back? Let us know, and we'll bring it back. Otherwise, we got other things to talk about.
We listen to the fans.
The fan.
We have more than one.
Yeah, we got 2.
Possibly less than
Alan.
10.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I don't know.
Anyway.
No solid numbers on that.
No, not much else is going on.
Cool.
So how was your week?
My week was good. Had an X-Wing tournament on Saturday.
It doesn't sound like that trophy's yours anymore.
No,
okay.
No. it was bad.
Crash and burn, huh, Mav?
Bad.
Okay.
I had like a garbage time victory, but yeah, wasn't good. Didn't go well. But I mean, other than that, it was still fun. We had an Iron Buffalo, so
I noticed your new headgear.
yes, Iron Buffalo has hats now, and I eagerly snatched one up and proudly wear it. So yeah, there was that. Julie had a work function she was required to go to last night.
I love the required work function.
Yeah, it's kind of aggravating to me. Not so much because the show had to get postponed tonight because I couldn't find a sitter for William, but just, the fact that, like, we're going to this thing, you kind of have to go to it. That's really
because going to your job isn't mandatory enough.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. A nice dinner on the company is not the worst thing in the world.
Right.
But
after work, the last thing you want to do is work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway.
So, yeah, I don't think much else really went on this past week.
We're boring. We're old.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't we have game night Friday night again?
I had cousins night.
You had cousins night.
I had about, how many of my cousins came over?
Many?
6 or 7 of them, I think. Yeah, a lot of my cousins, almost all of them were over Friday night. I made chili. We watched the disastrous hockey game and just kind of had drinks and hung around and reminisced, and it was cool.
They're all kind of disastrous now.
They are. It's a thing.
It's rough, but as Buffalo sports fans, we're used to it.
I mean, I've got lots of thoughts on the Buffalo sports scene.
It's like I've always said, man. Being a Buffalo sports fan is like taking a vow of poverty.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't. I could go off on a big tear about our sports mentality and the mentality of the owners, but we'll save that let's table that for another
time.
I have a lot to say about it.
All right, folks, if you'd like to tell us about your weeks or send us in any questions or comments to be read on the show, you can do so at the following locations. You can go to Twitter and follow us at Devils Do Pod. You can go to our Facebook page, and please like our page at facebook.com/devilsdopod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. Drew, as always, that being said, we do have some emails.
Good.
First emails from our young listener, Mr. Brendan Budnick. Hey, Carl and Drew, I was just wondering what your opinions were on Tetris 99 and what ridiculous battle royal is going to be next. Drew, we have been playing a lot of Tetris 99. Now, this will link into a news story we're going to talk about later, but we'll spoil a little bit of it now. This past week, Nintendo had a Direct.
They did.
And they gave a lot of stuff, but one of the most pleasant surprises of the Direct was that we got a new Tetris game, and it was free.
Yeah, for the subscribers of the Nintendo Network, yes, free.
Yes. It's called Tetris 99, and basically you're playing Tetris against 99 other people.
Yeah, and there can be only one winner.
If you would look at this on paper, you're like, okay, so it's Tetris again? I mean, we are both of the age where we grew up, well, maybe more so me than you, but remember the original brick Game Boy with Tetris.
I had a Game Boy with Tetris.
It has spawned.
Sir, I had a
then.
black 10-gen Tetris cartridge. Not the Nintendo one. I had the OG 10-gen unauthorized copy.
Ooh.
And that version was actually better than the Nintendo one that came later. Although, the Nintendo music is obviously iconic. So,
Yeah.
In any case, Tetris 99. On paper, you would laugh. You go, what? Come on, it's Tetris. How much? It's Tetris. And yes, in execution, it's Tetris.
Yeah.
But it's so much more.
It's
as soon as you introduce a competitive aspect to it with targeted garbage dumping,
yep,
suddenly it becomes a whole new animal.
Yeah, it's insane. It is just the intensity of the game is so much more than when you're just playing standard Tetris.
So, a quick, like, aside, not aside, but a tie-in. So, I don't know for sure, because I don't know how many versions of Tetris are out there. I'm sure there's a million, right?
Many.
Okay. And I'm not a Tetris, I love Tetris. Who doesn't love Tetris, right? It's like Tetris. The ultimate video game. But I don't know how many versions have been online over the years, so I could be, in the dark on this, but like my first exposure to competitive Tetris was on the Nintendo DS. I'm pretty sure, the DS, not the 3DS, the DS, and they had a Tetris game for it, and that one was online. You could do up to 4 players, I think, online.
Yeah,
competitive Tetris, and that, as a person who grew up with Tetris, mainly as a single-player experience, that was so revelatory to me, because I got to see 3 other people playing Tetris against them, and like how I got to see how other people played the game and their strategies for playing the game.
Yeah, blew
my mind in a good way, because now I'm a much better Tetris player, and I have my own strategies and my own method of playing now that has made me so much better. But even then, even with my pretty good Tetris prowess, man, Tetris 99 is hard. People are so good at that game. It's hard,
and
man.
The difficulty has only increased dramatically since the game came out. There's a certain time at night where, you know what? Don't even bother.
all the hardcores are on.
I think it's kind of like past like 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
I jumped on last night for a couple matches. I averaged like mid 20s to low 30s usually in my finishes. I didn't crack 70 last night. I'm 3 pieces in. I'm already getting sent 4 junk lines. I'm like, how?
Yep.
How?
Well, your targeting strategy can have something to do with it. So I'm trying to figure out the best targeting strategy. And right now, I've gone back and forth on this.
Yeah.
And I think right now my main play is to just stay random until the field clears out a little. Then I get vindictive, because at that point you need to kind of survive.
Yeah.
But if you start off trying to attack or play for badges right away, you are going to get found out quickly, and that's when the proverbial poo hits the fan.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with your strategy there.
Originally, I was starting on badges, and then once I passed the 50 player mark, switched to KOs.
Yes.
And most of the time, that will usually work. Other than that, I'll just go random. Or if I'm getting targeted by a couple of people, I'll switch to attackers.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, it's so Nintendo to take this simple, goofy concept that you would almost laugh at from any other company, and yet they find a way to make it the hottest thing going right now in video games.
Yeah,
like people are going insane over this.
Yeah, as far as what we would next think would make a good battle royal game, it's this, like, okay, if you're talking battle royal, like, this to me is not a quote-unquote battle royal game as in comparison to what now is considered a battle royal game. Your Fortnites, your Call of Duties, your things like that. It's just like a bunch of people playing Tetris against everyone. Last one standing wins. You know what? I don't really know what you could apply the formula to. The current battle royal formula. I don't know.
Fighting game, battle royale.
I mean, that's kind of...
You can't all fight each other at once, obviously, but maybe...
Then it's just a tournament.
Yeah, but you could do it with one health bar. You get dumped in, and then from there, it's just go.
It's possible.
Could work.
Yeah. They've done that in... They have like survival mode in most fighting games, and that's kind of what that is.
Yeah, it'd be kind of like that.
They don't
except
have like an online survival mode. No, I get that. Yeah, it's possible. I'd definitely be willing to explore it. All right, Brendan, thank you very much for the questions. We appreciate it. Now on to the T block and the square of the Devil's Due. Mr. Alan Waiters and Mr. J. Gelsomino. As always, we will let them fight over which one is which. Starting with Mr. Alan Waiters. Carl and Drew, with a new, younger generation never experiencing the joy of the original Game Boy, and remastering is becoming popular, what Game Boy or NES game would you like to see remastered for the Switch? After watching the Nintendo Direct, what impressed you most, what disappointed you? We'll get to that in news. What do you Game Boy / NES game do you want to see remastered?
Maybe like the first Super Mario Land I could see being done.
Yeah.
It was a good game, but it was very odd. And I think, if I recall, it was like they let a non-traditional Mario developer develop that game. And like it's Mario.
Yeah.
It's very distinctly Mario.
And a submarine shooting torpedoes.
Yeah, but yet it had these weird quirks to it.
Yeah.
And those tend to be the most interesting Mario games sometimes. I mean, not always, but they're interesting at least.
Yeah.
That could be fun. The Castlevania game, I think, was pretty cool. But they might have redone that. They actually might have remastered that for one of the later handhelds. But something like that would be cool.
My selection's pretty easy. I would love to see a graphically remastered, don't you dare touch the gameplay, Super Dodgeball. Because as much as I love that game, which I've said numerous times on the show,
it is great.
It's visually painful to watch at times.
It can be.
Because the characters are just blinking in and out of existence often.
To get that many sprites on an NES was impressive for the time, but at the same time, flickering is a thing.
So yeah,
it's a trick to get them on there.
Don't touch the gameplay.
Okay,
just fix the graphics.
Okay,
I'd be very happy with
that. Can't. They must have at some point done a remaster of that game.
There have been other air quote dodgeball games, but nothing has equaled how good the gameplay is on that game.
I'm gonna find out.
Okay, so, Carl, this year marks the 10th anniversary of Street Fighter IV. God, I feel old. Was the game more important to resurrecting fighting games as we know it, or more importantly, reviving Capcom as a great developer, since it brought back franchises like Mega Man, Devil May Cry, and Onimusha? Is Onimusha back? I'm going to say no. I would say Street Fighter IV was the catalyst to give birth to the new golden age of fighting games we find ourselves in now. It revitalized the genre. It gave it new life. It brought a whole generation of new players into the genre. It, began the fighting game community down the road to esports and, like, for crying out loud, there are Street Fighter tournaments that I've watched on ESPN. What world are we living in where this happens? But yeah, Street Fighter 4 was definitely the catalyst to that. I don't think we can go so far as to say Capcom has become a great developer again.
No.
Because when Street Fighter 4, big success.
Yes.
Every fighting game since then, with the exception of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and even that had its stumbles, has not been met with the same success.
Well, that even outside of Street Fighter, it's very hit and miss. Yeah,
we haven't really gotten like new Resident Evil games. We're just getting a bunch of reissues.
Well, I mean, 7 is new. I mean, I would count that as I mean, it's within the last couple of years, and they took it. They took the franchise kind of in a new direction, made it first person, made it scary again, and kind of de-emphasized the action element, which had been really prevalent since 4. So I mean that's fine, but Resident Evil's a pretty reliable franchise for them. It's rarely outright bad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, meanwhile, Mega Man's been a tire fire for a long time, and
Mega Man 11 was great.
Yeah, but I mean, before that,
before that and since then, it's just
they haven't really committed to it, and
they could be doing a lot more with that franchise, with that character. Frankly, with all their franchising character, they gave us a new Devil May Cry game, and I guess it's doing well.
Is it okay?
Devil May Cry was never really my franchise. So,
same.
All the power to the fans of that series. Onimusha, a great franchise that there were aspects of it I liked better than Resident Evil, but just re-releasing the original game does not qualify as bringing the series back.
What would make Capcom like a top tier developer again? Give them the Disney license like back in the NES days.
Oh, jeez.
Give me the new DuckTales.
Yep.
Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers.
Give me a Arkham Asylum version of Darkwing Duck.
Sure. Yes. Why not? Let's do that.
All right. So, Drew, with Nintendo on fire right now, as you reflect and think, is the Wii U more appreciated now since many of its ports are selling well on the Switch? Do you see Nintendo and Platinum Games makers of Bayonetta having a similar partnership to Rare Nintendo or Sony Nintendo?
Sony Nintendo?
Maybe he's referring to partnerships that dissolved.
Okay. Well, the Wii U being more appreciated, no. I think people still have their feelings about the system itself, but I maintained that it was great because the games were great, and the games still are great. And they're being sold, again, to a wider audience now with the Switch, and people are finding out about the games, and they're going, oh, yeah. These games are great. But, I mean, the fact that they're coming out for the Switch, though, doesn't necessarily mean people are going to automatically give the Wii U some kind of new Dreamcast-esque, love affair after the fact. I don't see it happening. But then again, maybe. I mean, we'll see. I think the Wii U was a great proof of concept for what we ended up getting with the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately when it comes down to it, the Wii U was a misstep for Nintendo. But
yes and no.
As with Nintendo's past missteps, they were able to take the foundation of what they were trying to do, build on that, and improve on that.
Yeah.
Because, the Wii U, to me, it wasn't a great system. The games were great, but the system itself wasn't great. Ultimately, it gave us the Switch. And
right.
The Switch is just fantastic on all fronts.
Well, the Switch is it's the realization of what they wanted the Wii U to be.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to do the handheld, the TV, and the yada yada. That's the ticket.
There we go.
But hey, that's okay. It's not failure. It's just success training, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Tell that to Virtual Boy.
It's all a matter of perspective.
Okay.
And as far as Platinum Games goes, I mean, I'm not going to put them in the Rare tier. Rare had a run there that was pretty lofty. I feel like Platinum Games, while they make well-made games, they're often very, shall we say, love them or hate them kind of games.
You could tell you're playing a Platinum game.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a palette swap.
No, I wouldn't say that. It's just if you're not into their style, and case in point, me and Bayonetta. I own Bayonetta. I gave it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Do I recognize that this is a polished, insane experience that is well done and all of it's for what it's trying to do? Yeah, I recognize that. Do I like it?
Yeah. I feel the same way about Transformers Devastation.
Okay.
They had such a great opportunity to make a truly awesome Transformers Generation 1 game, and it's good, but they lean too heavily on what their formula is, and that formula doesn't quite fit with Transformers.
Well, let me ask you this. Does that concern you a little bit, seeing as I think they're the developer for Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
Time will tell.
Okay.
Because we've seen some early gameplay of Ultimate Alliance 3, and it's clearly not in that vein.
Okay.
As long as they keep it close to the formula of the original Ultimate Alliance games, like I need to be able to switch seamlessly at any time between my teammates. Hopefully they'll be able to do that.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right, Alan, as always, thank you. And now on to Mr. J. Gelsomino. Carl and Drew, when all the dust clears from the Marvel Netflix deal and everyone's back on Team Marvel, how would you reintroduce Daredevil? Pretend the layoff never happened, start from scratch completely, or maybe use flashbacks from season 1 to 3 to fill in blanks for the newbies?
That's a good question.
It's a tough call, because, like, especially in the episode tonight,
I feel like it's going to be this is okay. Assuming that it can happen, we're going to talk about this in the news. It's going to be a little bit of a wait.
At least 2 years.
But I feel like it's going to be a quick 2 years.
Hope so.
I mean, I'm old, so time goes by very quickly for me, kids.
Yep.
For you, maybe not so much, but to me, I was a boy, but yesterday. Anyway, and plus in today's, things move fast and people forget fast, but at the same time, if something was good, people don't necessarily forget fast. And I don't think you need to reboot it, and I don't think you need to do like flashback scenes or whatever.
Yeah.
I think if they get the ball rolling quickly and on time, they could pick right up where they left off, and people would be fine with that.
Yeah, I mean,
just acknowledge the gap of time in the show. Like,
yeah, bring back the original cast.
Yeah.
Just say that Fisk has been consolidating his power for the past 3 years in the shadows, whatever, and then just kind of pick up right where you left off.
Yeah. Do it.
Drew, have you begun to breathe with the switchblade?
Yeah, sure. Let's see what he's got.
Can we get some background on this?
Switchblade Jay White.
Okay.
NJPW champion. We've been over this.
Okay.
His catchphrase is breathe with the switchblade.
Is that similar to rubbing the blood?
No. No.
Right. I just wanted to make sure.
But it's almost as cringy.
Okay.
But it's intentional.
All right.
They wanted you to buy Rub the Blood. Jay White's supposed to be a heel.
Okay. Carl, they announced Jaws Funkos. Oh, boy, did they. They announced a lot of Funkos this week.
Jay had a big Jaws week. Jaws Funkos and the board game.
Yeah. We both know we're both getting them all. That's not wrong. What other Jaws Funkos would you like to see them make? Armless Sean Brody from Jaws 4 springs to mind. I am down for a series of Funkos for each Jaws movie.
Okay, slow down.
Do it.
Okay.
Give me Two-Face Jaws from Jaws 2. The scarred on one side.
Uh-huh.
Give me Brody in the little rubber raft. I'll be happy. Jaws 3, I mean, come on. Calvin Bouchard. Give me my Louis Gossett Jr. Funko Pop. Give me a Jaws Shark 2-pack, the mother and then the baby shark.
Can we have the Jaws 4 Roaring Shark?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Okay.
But most importantly of all, we can have Hoagie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did they, with this Jaws Funko announcement, I saw we have Quint, we have Brody,
yes.
We have Hooper.
And Jaws.
Yep. No boat?
No boat yet.
We need a boat.
I'd be very surprised if we didn't get like a...
We need the orca.
Orca with Quint.
Yes, we need the orca.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
It's really a star unto itself at the movie.
It really is. And I was actually talking with Jay at work because, we work together now.
I know.
Funko Pops we haven't gotten yet. Tombstone. We haven't gotten Tombstone Funko Pops.
The movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten No Holds Barred Funko Pops. I think
I mean, we're good there.
Come
I
on.
think.
You get the Zeus Funko Pop. He's got the one eye, and the other eye is just a little bit lower.
Well, I'll leave Tiny Lister alone, man.
Yeah.
He's fine. We're good.
Okay.
I mean, because outside of Hulk Hogan and Zeus, I mean, who are you going to have in that line? The guy who peed his pants?
Sure.
Or pooped his pants, I should say.
Call him Dookie guy.
Oh, the
Dookie.
That movie got made. That was released in theaters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God. And you know what the sad part about this, Carl? This is not the last Hulk Hogan-related news item that we're going to talk about.
No. And give the movie credit, though. It did.
Well, slow down. Give the movie credit.
It did introduce us to the concept of the octagon.
No, no, stop that.
What? It did.
Okay, sure.
The original X-Men movie stole from No Holds Barred. Wolverine's intro, the cage fighting. It's how they introed Zeus.
I'm pretty sure cage fighting was a thing before No Holds Barred.
Listen.
Oh, God.
I got 5 words for you, Drew. 5 words.
Family show. Go on.
No Holds Barred special episode.
Oh. The battle of the tough guys.
We need to watch it for the show.
So, whatever that guy's name who played the villain, he ended up in Wayne's World.
Yeah.
I kept wanting him to yell obscenities at Wayne and Garth. Wayne. It never happened. He was such a different character. He was so deliciously evil and No Holds Barred. Left the impact on me at a young age.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh man, so great.
No Holds Barred.
Rip him.
Stop.
Rip him.
No.
Doing the hand gesture.
You know. And here's the thing. No Holds Barred tangent.
No Holds Barred tangent.
Look at this.
This is what we get, folks.
Like, Hulk Hogan was essentially just playing himself in that movie.
Yep.
It was made by WWE.
Yep.
Did we need to have him play a character named Rip? Like, just make it the Hulkster. Like, what's the point?
I don't know.
Like,
give us Rip.
No,
why didn't he become Rip when he went to WCW?
Kayfabe. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, Zeus came in as Zeus.
Yeah.
And later on Z Gangsta in WCW, but we don't talk about that because that was terrible.
Yeah.
But No Holds Barred. No Holds Barred.
Gotta do a commentary. Rip him.
Yeah. I'm not ready to do that commentary track, dude.
Come on, Drew. Do the Rip 'em, man.
No. I can't. What was his brother's name? Get crippled? Randy.
Randy. Yeah, that's a fun good. We could get crippled Randy.
Crippled Randy Funko Pop.
Crippled Randy.
I like it.
Oh man! All right, let's move on from the emails to the news of the week. Open up the case files. Drew, as we mentioned before, we got a Nintendo Direct this week, and Nintendo just showered down the goodies. Yeah, tell the good people what we're getting, Drew.
Hang on, you have the phone up. I don't have the list in front of me. Let me tell you, you're getting a lot of stuff. They announced like 20-something games in that thing, maybe more. It was just like, here, take all the information. I tend to be like, whatever on a lot of the Japanese RPGs that are coming out for the system, which seemed like a lot based on that Direct, but there's a huge market for that in Japan, obviously, and they have the fans elsewhere in the world that like that genre as well. So if you're psyched up for that new Fire Emblem game, hey man, go nuts. But I was a little more psyched up about Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which I think they said comes out this summer.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's coming soon then.
Super Mario Maker 2.
Yes. I had a lot of fun with that on the Wii U, and I would very much like to do more of it on the Switch. And
probably the big one of the Direct was the announcement teaser for Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Remastered.
Yeah. Now,
go on. Let me because I don't have the experience with this game that you do.
Okay.
I got really excited when I saw the visual style of the teaser, and then that excitement just cratered when I saw the graphics of the game.
Okay. So why are you upset about the graphics in the game? It's the Game Boy game, but updated.
It's the Game Boy game, but updated. But it looks like a mobile game.
No, it just looks like an updated Game Boy game.
It looks like a mobile game. Like, I got really excited when I saw like the hand drawn art and whatnot. I thought that I was really hoping the game would be in that visual style. Because if the game was in
the
that
overhead Zelda style doesn't mesh with that.
You don't know that till they try. And from what I've seen, the graphics, they're not trying very hard.
It'll be fine. It's fine. It's a Game Boy game. It's a remake of a Game Boy game. It's not a full tilt. It's not what we consider to be a full tilt Zelda game in the year of our Lord 2019.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild has kind of changed those parameters, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it. So I'm totally fine with it. Link to the Past was the SNES game, and then they kind of used that as a template to make Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. And it's amazing that they did, actually, because it's a very robust game. It's a full-blown Zelda game adventure on the Game Boy, which at the time, the idea that you could do that on such a small thing, like, on this little itty-bitty cartridge it's pretty incredible that they pulled it off. So they're and people have a lot of affinity for that game, and this is the first time in 26 years, oh my God, that they're going back to that well. So this is cool that they're doing that.
Where does it place for you in the Zeldas? Is it?
I'm one of those guys who considers the console games to be the truth, and then the handheld games are just kind of there. So among the handhelds, it's great. It's one of the best ones for sure.
Okay.
So it is very quirky, mind you, though. It's a weird Zelda game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you noticed in the trailer, but there were Chomps and Goombas in it.
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't the only Mario enemies in the game. It's got weird...
Shared universe?
Kinda.
Is it a shared universe?
Kinda. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. It's out there for a Zelda game, but it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think I think a lot of people saw the Zelda logo before they saw the graphics and were like, not to say that there's a lot of like newbies in the Zelda fan community, but I think Breath of the Wild has skewed things so wildly because it's such a universally beloved game now that people thought maybe they were going to get that again. And it's like, that's
a once a generation game
at most. Yeah. Like, that game took a long time to make.
Yeah, you're not going to see a Zelda game like that until the next Nintendo system.
It might close out the Switch's life or launch the next Nintendo console.
Or probably both.
Yeah, like Breath of the Wild.
And Twilight Princess?
Twilight Princess. No, yeah.
Closed out the Wii, brought in the Wii U.
That is correct, sir.
Bloodstained.
Ritual of the Night. Yes, let's do this. You know me in the Metroidvanias, and this is from the guy who helped make that a thing. Let's do that. Especially since Circle of the Moon, the 8-bit styled one, was so enjoyable. I'm looking forward to this now being the full-fledged game that, we've been looking forward to for, probably 3 or 4 years since the Kickstarter went up. So, time to get hype.
Cool. Those were the big ones from the show. And then, of course, we got Tetris 99.
Yep. The game we never knew we wanted. Yeah. A lot of indie love. Yeah. Which is great. I mean, as I play Hollow Knight, and I have, like I said, my short list of indie games that I want to get into next. Nintendo seems to be throwing their support behind independent gaming, and it seems to be going well for them. So, good. Do it. Do it up.
All right, Drew. Well, let's talk about... as inevitable as the sands of time, we knew this was coming. The final nails have been put into the coffin of the Netflix Marvel universe. The universe that spawned this very show.
Kind of, yeah.
It was announced this week, and again, to the surprise of no one, that Punisher and Jessica Jones were Punisher Season 2 was the final season of Punisher. The next season of Jessica Jones will be the final season for Jessica Jones.
Do you find the timing a little weird.
I find it strange because they typically wait till after the season is out to announce the cancellation. So it seems like they're just kind of throwing... I mean, we all knew Jessica Jones eventually was going to be canceled.
Sure.
But the fact that they're announcing it, like the third season doesn't come out to the summertime, and I'm interested to see what they do with the third season.
Got a spoiler for you.
What?
Kilgrave's coming back.
Cool.
Somehow.
Yeah, I'm fine with that because, comics. So yeah, it just, like, we knew it was coming. It was inevitable. Jeff Loeb wrote a letter to the fans.
Yes.
Kind of put the onus on Netflix for this whole thing.
It's. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, yes. I mean, from their perspective, Marvel's not going to be showing them any love once their service gets up and running. So Netflix wants to double down on all of their original content. They could keep look, they have the rights to these Marvel things. They could keep putting money into them to make new seasons and not own the rights to it outright. Yeah. Or they could say, hey, have a nice day. We had a nice little thing going. Yeah. It worked out pretty well for both of us for a little while. And they can take that money and put it into original content that they control and own and can do what they want with.
I think ultimately it was probably a case of Disney going, okay, we will play out these existing contracts. And I think each show was contracted for 5 seasons. We'll play out the existing contracts, but after that, we're not renegotiating. The characters are coming back to us, and that's just what's going to be. And Netflix was probably like, then why are we going to bother putting in the money and effort?
Right. That's like I said, exactly.
And I get that.
From both sides, honestly, sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's, it stinks as a fan because I want more Daredevil, and stuff. But like, I understand the reasons why it happened, and I'm not going to say that it's either party's fault per se.
Yeah.
The stars just they grew apart for valid reasons. And this is the way it had to go. It was not gonna sustain itself the way it was, given the trajectories of Disney with their streaming service and Netflix with their commitment to original property.
What ultimately do you think the legacy of the Netflix shows, the Netflix Marvel universe? What do you think ultimately it will be?
It's a mixed bag, I think. I think we got out of the gate hot with Daredevil taking off in a big way. And I think after that, the perception that I feel just from casually reading, think pieces and comments and just kind of getting the lay of the land of the opinion on this, kind of a missed opportunity in a way because of the obvious complaints of padding with the seasons and how do I want to say this? Maybe the lack or the mixed messaging of some of its shows. Specifically, Luke Cage and The Punisher, shows that could have been, for however you want to coin this, about something, but kind of middled it in the end, rather than taking a side for what they were trying to do. They alluded to it to a side, but then kind of wanted to have it both ways. So, and then not to mention it just, the quality, very mixed. Like Luke Cage, off to a great start. The minute Cottonmouth goes out the window, so kind of does the show. But
it's still not bad.
No,
just not as good as it was.
But it felt like it was going to be great. And then it just kind of reverts to good. I
think at the end of the day, we got one really good show, Daredevil.
Right.
2 pretty good shows, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Mm-hmm. And then 2 just bad shows. I'm sorry, I'm putting Punisher in the bad show category.
Haven't watched season 2 yet, but I don't have a desire to. And I still... Well, no. You know what? I have a whole Punisher as a fan, I have this whole Punisher thought, and I don't want to go too deep into it, but I see people saying good things about season 2, and I'm like, have you read The Punisher in your life, sir?
That's the thing. I don't think they've really read The Punisher. I think they enjoy that version of the character without understanding the nuances of the character.
Okay. Good luck with that. I mean, I sound like such a snob saying that, because if they like it, if they like the show as presented, I mean, who am I to say that they're wrong? But like, even as a show, it was boring, man. Like, come on, punish someone.
Yeah, there was not a lot.
What are we doing
in
here?
Season 2.
So anyway, yeah, I think the ultimate. Here's the thing: they did. I mean, it was an ambitious TV proposal, though.
Yeah,
and they paid it off.
Yeah,
Defenders was not.
Defenders was fine.
It was okay.
It was what it was meant to be. It was a fun romp with all the characters.
Yeah. I mean, they could have done better with like their antagonist ultimately, but like having the characters rub up against each other was fun. So
yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
Good night, sweet prince.
Yeah. Pour one out for the Netflix Marvel U.
Hey, for what it's worth, Hulu said they're open to picking this back up in 2 years.
2 years, folks.
Could happen.
These characters are on the clock. They are in the penalty box for 2 years. Marvel, Disney can't do anything with them per the agreement with Netflix. The shows as they exist now will always be on Netflix. Netflix owns those shows, but we're not going to see anything new from these characters for at least 2 years. All right. Now on to something that I am somewhat excited about. You probably not as much, my friend.
Oh.
Well, this is just, a path we diverge on.
Okay.
While still heading in the same direction.
Okay.
It's being reported. I'm not seeing an official announcement anywhere, but a lot of reputable sources are reporting that there will be a 6-episode Obi-Wan Kenobi miniseries on the Disney streaming service, live action, and that Ewan McGregor will return to reprise his role. Now, I'm excited about this because of all the bad things about the prequels. His performance was actually one of the things that was good about them, when he was allowed to actually do a performance. And this seems to be where Disney is going with a lot of things that have potential, but maybe don't warrant a full theatrical release. Like we're seeing it on the Marvel side with the Scarlet Witch show, the Loki show, the Winter Soldier Falcon show, which is the one that's got me most excited. I mean, that's just give me them.
It's just them nodding in
the
car.
Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, right.
And just do like hard traveling heroes. And I'm a happy duty. But no, I'm excited about this. I was excited about the prospect of an Obi-Wan movie. We're getting a 6-episode series. And yeah.
Okay.
You don't care.
Not in the slightest. He was on the desert planet for 15 years watching Luke grow up, doing nothing.
I'm sure he wasn't doing anything. Gets lonely in the desert. All those spaceports around there, there's stuff to be done.
He's trying to lay low, Carl.
So,
it's like Brick.
Once
Brick killed the guy. You may want to lay low for a while.
Have you listened to the Ron Burgundy podcast yet?
I listened to some of it in the car with my boss on the way to lunch the other day. It was something.
It's like I said, you're not getting Anchorman.
Well, you are, but it's just bizarre in a way. But that's Anchorman. So I mean, if you're down for it, go for it.
All right, next news story just broke today. Thor is going to play Hulk. Drew.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth is signed on to play iconic pro wrestler Hulk Hogan in a biopic. Drew?
Yeah.
This.
You know what that movie's not going to cover, Carl?
This seems problematic.
Oh, it is. We're just going to forget all about
the racism.
The racism. Yeah, we're just. It's so stupid. Do you know why they're going to pretend like that didn't happen? Because of the stupid lawsuit over Gawker that Hogan won, because he was bankrolled by a billionaire who was mad at Gawker for telling the truth about the guy. It's also stupid. It's also stupid. Hogan ended up making a whole ton of money out of that and winning the lawsuit. But in the course of the lawsuit is when the racist stuff came out. And, because he won the lawsuit, somehow he feels like he's exonerated from everything.
Yeah.
No, dude. Y'all, you did that. You said that.
Yep.
I don't care if you won your law. I don't care about that. You're kind of a creep. You're kind of a jerk.
Didn't he make a big speech to the WWE locker room and not really apologize for anything?
That is correct, sir.
And didn't some of the wrestlers of
color
they
didn't buy it?
Really?
No, they didn't buy it. So, because he didn't he gives a speech to the locker room. And what people thought was going to be, hey, like an apology, like, I'm sorry I said those things. It was like, it came off like a warning to them to be careful what they say and do, because they might be being recorded and it could come back to bite them.
Yeah.
Like poor me. That's like, he gave a poor me speech to these people. I don't care what color you are.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that guy going like, what's wrong with you, dude?
Yeah,
you're the one who did the thing, and you're going to sit there and be like, hey, it was wrong what happened to me. No.
Yeah.
No.
It's crazy to think, like, where he was and what he's become. Like, when we were kids, Hulk Hogan was a god.
Yeah.
And just, like, the more, like so many things in life, the more you learn, the more you wish you didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the old Harvey Dent routine, man. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And
or
that's
turn heel.
So cynical, but, like, man, as I get older, it's kind of true. Yeah. Like, I hate Liam Neeson. What are you doing, guy?
Bill Cosby. Britt killed a guy.
Oh, man, it's crazy. But, that's the world we live in now, and not now. It's always been this way. Yeah. But all I can say, age gracefully, mind what you say.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that you're not the center of the universe.
And I'm by no means saying Bill Cosby is innocent.
No.
I'm just throwing him out as an example.
Well, yeah.
Someone we thought was one thing and turned out to be something much, much worse.
It's a complicated world. But anyway, Hemsworth is playing Hogan. And here's the thing. I'm okay, like, if they're going to do like a I'm air quoting serious take on that, where they cover the warts and all, and they present him as the not the character, as the man he is and was, then okay, and then, cool. But if this is going to be a puff piece,
is it being done by WWE?
I didn't see their name on it, no, but Eric Bischoff is executive producing it, and him and Hogan are buddies. So
is Bischoff still employed by WWE?
No. He's been doing various things for 15 years or so. But it's going to be it's going to be a puff piece. It's going to be a look how great he was biopic. Hemsworth, I'm going to tell you right now.
Just watch No Holds Barred.
If given all that, as I sit here, I actually have less respect for Chris Hemsworth for taking that role. If it's going to be this shiny, no warts take on Hogan.
Yeah.
Knowing what we know about Hulk Hogan, I lose respect for Chris Hemsworth for taking the role if that's what it's going to be. Because that's not right. That's just not right.
Yeah.
And, wrestling fan here, racist stuff aside even, Hogan in wrestling circles, man, is a known dirtbag. Like, Hogan is in it for Hogan. And that's about it. Many a person has been screwed over by Hulk Hogan over the years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't need a Hulk Hogan movie. I'm all Hoganed out. I was Hoganed out in like 93.
You know what? I would not be opposed to seeing a movie about the beginnings of the WWE. Like, when not done by WWE, but someone doing it seriously, of how
they never sign off on it.
The McMahons just like built it. Like that would be like taking over the territories and whatnot.
Yeah, they stole talent from everybody, and they screwed with TV rights, and they crushed everyone under their heel. That's what they did. You're never going to get that story. You're going to get Vince McMahon's version of the story.
Being an aggressive business person.
No, he'll insist that their businesses were going to go under anyway, and it was inevitable that he would come to the top because they all nationally, all of them ran their businesses so poorly that he had to save them all or whatever. Dude, the McMahon version of history, I've seen the McMahon version of history. It's pathetic, and you want to laugh? Watch their Monday Night Wars documentary on the WWE Network. It is the sanitized. It's the WWE Vince McMahon filtered version of the Monday Night Wars and what a revolutionary time it was. Except their version of events is very, very different than the reality that I remember living through week to week in that time.
What would you, if people are interested in learning more about this or seeing a documentary on this, point the people in the right direction? What's a good one to watch?
I don't know. If you want to see Vince McMahon for what he really is, watch Bret Hart. Watch the Wrestling with Shadows documentary from Bret Hart. That thing is eye-opening. You will see the Montreal Screwjob as it happened to a guy. For those who don't know what that is, that's when they literally screwed Bret Hart out of the title on his last night with the company. And he did not know it was going to happen, but it happened. And you get to see all the players involved lie and scramble like cockroaches on camera, on documentary film, backstage at a time when that stuff was not done. I know nowadays we see everything, but at that time in the mid '90s, you didn't see that kind of stuff because Brett had a documentary crew, and this happened, and it was all caught on tape. And so you get to see the real Vince McMahon there. You get to see a version of Vince, or at least his maniacal ego, in a fun way, in a like, oh my god, that guy's insane kind of way. In Beyond the Mat, which is a wrestling documentary that follows some over the hill guys and some up and comers. It's not WWFE. It's not WWE centric, but it is. They're in there, but it's more about that snapshot in time. So it's kind of a mid-late '90s snapshot. In terms of like movies you could watch about the rise of it all, I don't think there are many. There's books I could point you to kind of give you the idea, but Vince McMahon. I'll say this: I would absolutely watch a Vince McMahon biopic, but they're making one, by the way.
Is WWE making
yes,
one?
they are.
Yeah,
that's the one I don't want to see. I want to see the one made by someone else who knows the truth. Because honestly, even though he is a
do you have to give him a certain level of credit?
I
for
do.
What he created?
Absolutely. Credit full marks to Vince McMahon for being what he is. But that's why I want to see dude. He is fascinating. I don't like the guy.
Yeah,
but he's fascinating. He is a psychopath. Like, he's crazy. He is a bizarre man who he doesn't know what a taco is. He doesn't know what a burrito is. He thinks it's a steak wrap. I swear to God, this is a thing. He doesn't sneeze. He refuses to sneeze. And he looks down on people who do because he thinks it makes them look weak. Like, Vince is kind of a nutcase.
All right.
But that got him where he is.
Yeah.
A movie about that guy could be really something. Or even just an autobiography or a biography, a detailed biography about him would be fascinating.
All right. Moving on along.
Yeah, sorry, wrestling tangent there, everyone.
Yeah, no worries. We got some really cool news this week. Leah Thompson has been confirmed to have a role in the upcoming Howard the Duck animated series.
I'm all for that.
Yes, obviously yes. She was in the live action movie.
You had me at Leah Thompson.
Yeah.
Swoon.
Yeah. I mean,
when I was a boy, Carl.
The live action movie gave us so much more than people realize. Gave us Pixar.
And duck boobs.
And duck boobs.
George Lucas directed that movie.
No, he didn't. He produced. He did not direct.
Are you sure about that?
Yep. The only films George Lucas has directed are American Graffiti, THX 1138, Star Wars films,
the prequels. Yeah, I think you're right.
And then Red Tails, I believe, he directed.
But that is a Lucas film.
It was through and through Lucasfilm, and Lucas.
That's insane.
Lucas bankrolled hard into that, so much so. I mentioned that they gave us Pixar. It bankrolled so hard into it, so much so that when the film bombed, it was the financial failure that it was. As a favor to help alleviate some of the financial burden, Lucas's friend Steve Jobs bought the computer animation division of Lucasfilm, which later became Pixar.
The more you know.
Yep.
But yeah.
We strive to educate. Who was actually the director?
William Hute.
Okay.
Let me see what else he ended up doing. That's still insane to me, though, that Lucasfilm was even attached to that movie. Willard Huyck. He is known for, let's see.
Guessing he didn't get a lot of work after that.
Try to find filmography. See all. Director. He's directed 4 movies. Oh, Howard the Duck was the last.
Oh dear. He's still alive?
He wrote movies after that. He wrote, let's see.
Did you write No Holds Barred?
No.
Okay.
He wrote a TV movie. He wrote the Radioland Murders. And then he wrote another TV movie. In 2008, he wrote a TV movie. Wow. And that's it. That's his last credit, was in 2008. Good job, buddy.
I wonder if he wrote about...
Dude, he wrote Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom? Wow. Everyone craps on that one.
That's a great movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it's bad. Crystal Skull is bad.
Oh, yes it is.
Anyway.
I wonder if he wrote about that you can access Xbox Live from your Nintendo Switch.
Oh, man, don't start, please. Please don't start. I kind of figured out what that means, and I don't care, but I kind of know now.
Okay.
I'm not going to explain it to you because I'm going to do it poorly.
Fine.
So, okay.
All right. Our last news article, it was announced earlier this week that we are going to get a Transformers Generation 1 prequel series on Netflix that depicts the events leading up to the war on Cybertron. The beginnings of the war on Cybertron. I believe it's literally called Transformers War for Cybertron. What's exciting about this is that apparently they're working with the people who did the Machinima trilogy.
You speak highly of that.
Of the Transformers. The first part is Combiner Wars. The second part is Titan's Return. And the third part is Power of the Primes. If you are a Transformers fan and long for good Generation 1 material, I highly recommend go on YouTube, watch them all. It is fantastic.
So you could say that you are quite excited about this prequel series.
I am cautiously excited.
Okay.
Because if they do it like true Generation 1, I think it will be pretty awesome. I think there's some really cool mythology to flush out there. If they bay it up at all,
why would they do that?
Because reasons.
I think those fears I think you can put those to bed.
And no, those fears will never be put to bed. Ever.
I think Bumblebee has changed the game.
I will believe that when I see it.
It made bank And from what I hear, it is basically being referred to as it is the reboot of the franchise.
I've watched all of Bumblebee I need to watch. The first 3 minutes.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
And that 3 minutes is awesome. I highly recommend watching it if you haven't already.
Well,
It's fantastic. Saying. It's what you always wanted a Transformers movie to be. For crying out loud, Drew, they steal a moment from the old 1986 Transformers, the movie, for Optimus Prime.
Does he die?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
But
can't go through that again.
Yeah, and it's great. And then the rest of the movie starts, which I don't care about. I'm sorry. I don't. No.
How do you know
You showed that you could do it right. In 3 minutes, you showed that you could do it right, and then you went back to the Bay crap.
It wasn't Bay crap, though. It was a totally different movie.
It is Bay crap.
From what I have been told, it is not. It is completely different than the Michael Bay versions.
Like, it's Bay crap. They got air quotes Blitzwing in there.
All right,
it looks nothing like Blitzwing.
That's fine. Bumblebee's a bug. You got me there.
Yeah.
I didn't see the movie. I'm just telling you what I read, and apparently it's being referred to as the reboot, and people seem to be way more receptive to Bumblebee than they were the Bay movies. So maybe they turned a page. Bob Seger style.
Who knows? All right, that does it for the news.
Okay.
And Drew, it's been a couple hot minutes.
It's been a while.
We talked about Matt in comics last week. It's time to get back to what we do best on the show, some might say.
Really?
I don't know.
Who would say that?
What we do best is rustle papers. Time to talk about Daredevil. Drew, we're on episode 8. I didn't write down the title and name. Title of the episode. Do you have it?
No.
All right.
I can get it, though.
It's episode 8.
The Last Jedi? See what I did there? You see what I did there?
There's the warm fuzzies.
But, Carl, it's the worst Star Wars movie ever.
Shut up. No.
Ever.
Stop.
Ever. It's so terrible. Rian Johnson is the worst. He is a bad man.
He's the best. He gave us what we didn't know we wanted.
Did you see that report that came out that they were canceling his trilogy, and then he came on Twitter and was just like, "No, actually, that's not happening. We're just had a meeting yesterday," and the outlet that reported it apologized to him, and he was like, "Nope, it's all good."
It's a cool dude.
What a nice guy.
It's a cool dude.
What episode are we on here? 7?
8.
8. 8 is called Upstairs/Downstairs.
Gotcha. I see what they did with that title.
I see what. Yeah, it's relevant.
Yep.
To the episode, kind of.
So there are two. There's one really cool scene in this episode, and then there is what I think, anyway, is the pinnacle of D'Onofrio's performance as Kingpin in this episode.
Okay.
Not to say
Refresh me.
He goes downhill from there, because he does not, but he definitely plateaus. The scene with Karen at the end, when Karen goes to see Fisk. Upon rewatching it, just seeing the little subtle things he's doing in that scene, and just how he exemplifies the character in that scene, is just freaking fantastic. It's so good. He's helped out with a little bit of clever cinematography that I picked up on the second time around that I didn't the first time around. But just that scene, the subtle facial gestures he's doing when she's telling him that she killed Wesley, and that, and it just is just what I would one of the things I would point to about saying that's why no one else can touch this character for a very, very long time.
The man is an actor, and yeah, he's nailed this whole Whole show, he has nailed his performance. I know some people have a problem with it. They think it's weird and whatever, but like
people are wrong.
Yeah, I like, dude. If I've seen I've seen versions of the Kingpin that are just
We've seen John Rhys Davies.
I've seen John Rhys Davies, baby. I think people want like the gruff, tough, no nonsense. I don't know. I'm just going to call it for what I think it is: the generic boss character of the Kingpin.
It's too easy to do.
It's too
easy. It's not
cliche
interesting.
Almost. Yes, yeah, right. It's not interesting. Whereas D'Onofrio gives you that, but he gives you a whole ton of nuance.
I don't want the Kingpin to be Tony Soprano.
Right.
I don't even want the Kingpin to be Vito Corleone.
Okay.
I mean, I want the Kingpin to be what D'Onofrio is doing with him.
I mean, there is vulnerability in the comics as well, if you know where to look for it. Like, and the whole devotion to his wife and all that is in the comic. I mean, and the way he executes it all, that guy can, that dude put a lot of work into that performance, and it's great, and it shows.
He
deserves full marks.
Yeah, the other really cool scene in this episode was the whole ricocheting the bullets from when Matt and Nadeem break into Dex's apartment.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go straight up to, like, Dex comes home and they go straight up to like the fire escape to 2 apartments above, and then Dex is shooting at them by ricocheting the bullets off of the fire escape across the street.
Now, I'm sure that that stretches credulity in real life, but for a character like Bullseye...
No, it's physics. The math works. I did the math.
That's what I want to see out of Bullseye. That's exactly what I want to see.
This episode was pretty solid through and through. We get some follow-up with Julie after Dex's unfortunate first day with her, and then Julie goes away permanently.
Yeah.
She gets a little ping to the side of the head. Goes away.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that the first time through, that she had died, that they killed her. I thought they just, like, tranquilized her to hold her as, like, leverage on Dex. But then, spoilers, later on, Matt finds the body. I was like,
I was going to say, don't they find her in that freezer or whatever? Or...
So...
we also get Melvin comes back here, right?
No.
No?
Nope.
Sorry.
That was...
Oh, I have my 7 notes open.
Yeah.
8. There we go. Boom. I did kind of like the teamwork with Nadeem and Matt, actually. Nadeem's finally starting to, like, get the picture.
Yep.
He's been annoying me most of the season with his bullheadedness and
gullibility. Yes,
gullible and whatnot. But they're finally getting their act together. Foggy was going to confront the DA,
and he did. And it's going good. And then he realizes what Karen is doing.
Yeah. And Foggy is loyal to a fault to his friends.
Yes. Because what he's doing is working. He's kind of handing the DA his butt in the debate.
I was watching him do his thing. I'm like, man, Foggy's got this in the bag. And
until he doesn't.
Until he doesn't. Yeah. Hang on, checking my notes. Sorry. I should probably do this, before we start talking about it. Yeah, that whole scene with Karen was really good. And, man, I don't...
We get the bomb at the end of the episode that you and I, as Daredevil fans, knew was coming.
Yeah.
They do it really well, I think. Like, Matt is in the basement of the church, and Maggie is upstairs praying.
Question about that, though. I mean, it's obviously we knew it was coming.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Maggie is his mother.
Maggie is Matt's biological mother.
If she didn't want him to know, why'd she say it out loud when she knows he has...
I think she knows he has abilities, but I don't think she knows how they work to the extent of which they work.
Okay. Right. I don't know if again, I'm well versed in the character, so I knew this was coming. But I wonder if someone who might not be was surprised by that, or if it left any real impact on them at all.
I'm sure it probably was a surprise. If this is the only intro, the only interaction you have with this character, it probably very much was a surprise.
Okay.
But I think, like, I know we're probably kind of cutting this episode a little short, but I think, like, the two big things in this episode were that confrontation between Karen and Fisk.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's a great scene.
Yeah.
And the bullseye.
Bullseye being
the
bullseye.
Thing. Yeah. He's great.
Yeah.
That guy's really... we're never going to see him again.
Never say never.
All right.
If the age we've been living in since 2008 has taught me anything, it's
yeah.
never. Drew, we live in a world where Aquaman made $1 billion. Anything is possible.
I suppose when you put it
anything
like that,
is
when
possible.
you put it like that, I guess you're right.
We could get a He-Man Thundercats crossover live action film. We could
theoretically. I mean,
yeah, we could. Be
sure.
great. I'm trying to think what else. I really feel like we're cutting this episode short, but it is kind of late, and you and I are not as young as we used to be. Yeah. Matt and Nadeem at Dex's, not a lot going on there. Matt swipes a couple of the therapy tapes.
Yeah.
And then
secret's out.
Yeah.
To a degree.
We see in this episode the full change of Dex from who he started the series as to who he's going to finish the series as, because he just makes a decision. He burns the tapes at the end of the episode, and then he goes to see Fisk and
he
has his primal scream and whatnot, and
he's foregoing any sense of rehabilitation or therapy. He's going full heel, man.
He's embraced the new him.
This is he is kicking the old him through the barbershop window.
Yes. Wow.
That's right. Yeah, see?
Would you say super kicking?
Yes, exactly. With authority.
Yeah. Oh, the Rockers.
Yeah.
There were no demolition.
No. Who was? No one could be. Well, I mean... And then I would spin that around and be like, well,
there were no road
demolition
warriors.
was no road warriors. But anyway.
I prefer demolition.
Wow.
Well, the road warriors were, like, you knew the road warriors. Demolition were new hotness.
They were the ripoff hotness, but sure, yeah. It was unique enough.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. All right, folks, that just about does it for us this week. Sorry, we're kind of cutting the Daredevil breakdown a little bit short, but it's getting on 10 o'clock here. Drew and I both have to work in the morning. Drew's getting up at 5 a.m. to work out.
You like that, don't you?
5:30.
I don't like that.
Yeah, well, yeah. We gotta do. But, dear listeners, if you would like to send us any questions or comments, yell at us for cutting short a breakdown episode of Daredevil, you can do so at the following locations. You can follow us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Devils Do Pod. Please like our page. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. Drew, that being said, any last words?
Like forever or just closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts.
Oh, okay. Go to bed early.
Yeah.
Kids.
My closing...
Say your prayers. Eat your vitamins. No, don't do that.
My closing thoughts. Rip them.
Oh, boo you.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us again. Court's adjourned.